Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fitton Center for Creative Arts. My name is Ian Mackenzie Thurley. I'm the Executive Director here at the Fitton, and it's a great pleasure to see so many people here on a balmy spring morning here in Southeast Ohio. I think we'll be having, for the next Celebrating Self, we will be having roast groundhog for lunch. That little guy, I wouldn't trust him. And as ever, I want to thank Arts Wave in Cincinnati, the Ohio Arts Council, and of course our good friends at the Hamilton Community Foundation who do such wonderful work here, obviously at the Fitton Center, but throughout the greater Hamilton community. It's really fabulous. Big shout out to TV Hamilton and their partners, and of course Mr. Steve Colwell behind the camera there as ever. This will be going out live. Live to your TV sets through cable and also online through their YouTube channel. But we have great friends over there in the community. Always give Steve a wave when you see him out there. Pretty much at everything. Steve is at the opening of an envelope, and it's a great community resource for us, and we really do appreciate it. But I am really excited to have Miami Valley Ballet Theatre in here today with us at the Fitton Center. My first introduction to Michelle and Miami Valley was through Operation Pumpkin, which I was involved with for a few years here on their entertainment side. I had visions of my head of going into an old dusty dance hall and broken down shades and some old fat lady with a cigarette dripping out of her mouth going, 1, 2, 1. Now, nobody ever said that. That's what I had in my head. So the first time I ever went up to the studios, and I really highly recommend you do to go up to the studios at Miami Valley Ballet Theatre. They're absolutely sensational. We have Wayne Baker in from the Journal News today, and there's a lot of history in there because they're in the old print rooms are dance studios. So they've been really completely repurposed for the community, and what a fantastic thing. And these studios are absolutely gorgeous. They're not just gorgeous for Hamilton, they're not just gorgeous for the Cincinnati area. They're as beautiful a dance studio that I've ever seen in the world, and I've been lucky enough to be in the dance studios at the Royal Ballet and what have you. These are gorgeous studios doing great things. I put my money where my mouth is. My little 6-year-old bounces up there every week, every Thursday, and has been doing things like Nutcracker and Alice in Wonderland, and it's a really great resource for the community. And you see them out there with Alive After 5 and Operation Pumpkin, things like that, and they do fantastic shows over at somebody else's theatre over there in Fairfield. But I am excited to say they are coming here to the Fitton. They'll be here in May. In fact, they'll be here through the weekend of May 20th and 21st with a contemporary dance program. And the contemporary dance program they do is absolutely sensational. Really worth checking out, but very, very, very excited to have Miami Valley Ballet Theatre just 3 blocks up the road, coming here into the Fitton Center. They'll be doing some of their summer camp work here. They're going to be involved with Sampler and with our season launch. It's really, really important to me as we go forward that all of these community arts organizations feel that they can have a home or a temporary home or a base or support here at the Fitton Center. So I'm really excited by that as we go forward. But for me, I'm excited to see that we're having young dancers coming through here, because that's an important art form and an important part of any child's development, and we're excited by that. So without any further ado, I would like to hand you over to the Artistic Director of Miami Valley Ballet Theatre here in Hamilton, Miss Michelle Davis.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you so much for coming and hanging out at the Fitton Center this afternoon for lunch and for coming to learn a little bit about Miami Valley Ballet Theatre. So I am the Artistic Director. My name is Michelle Davis, and Ian just told you a whole lot about the company already, but our mission is to engage the community in art of dance and striving to cultivate a love of a movement encompassing all ages and abilities. And I think you're going to see from this presentation exactly how that we do that. So I'm going to start out a little bit. We all just had great pizza from Richard's, and we're feeling tired and sleepy. So we're going to move a little bit. You don't have to get up out of your chair, but this is something that we use a lot in all of our classes, especially our younger classes, but it's great for people of all ages. It's called brain dance. And you can do it while you're sitting right there in your seat. First, I just want everybody to take nice big breaths. So just take a breath in and blow that breath out. Just do that a couple times. Good job. And then the next thing that we're going to do, so this is a really important part of the beginning, is breathing as we get started, is a tactile, something that's tactile, so something that you can feel. So just kind of touch down your arms, touch down your legs. Just start help wake up your brain a little bit this afternoon. All right, the next thing that I want you to do is just reach forward just a little bit in your chairs, and then reach back just a little bit. Just bend your back forwards and side to side, get that food moving a little bit. And then a little cross lateral. So use both sides of your brain, just touch one leg and cross over, and then cross over with the other hand. All right, good. All right, so now we're ready to, let me go past this again. Ready to get started. All right, so we are a nonprofit ballet company. We have about 200 students now, so Mike, we have crossed over 200 now. And we have students ages 2 and older. So our 2-year-old classes, the kids do not perform in big performances, but those that are older do. Everybody has that opportunity. We have 6 women on our faculty. And one of them is here today. She actually was the teacher that I grew up taking dance from, so Janet, which she'll love. Yeah, there she is. She's back there. Janet teaches our girls once a week, our advanced dancers in ballet as well as pointe. So the ballet is such a passed down art form, and having her on faculty with us is fantastic. So our classes include classes in ballet, pointe, tap, musical theater, modern, and jazz. Finding our way to Hamilton, so how in the world did we get here? In 2008, I took over as the artistic director of the company, and I rented space at a dance studio called Tanza Performing Arts Studio in Fairfield. Susan Moser is the owner there. And I rented space there, and we grew and grew and grew. And in 2010, we had gone from 30 students when I started to about 120, and so we began to search for a new space. I think the Dingledines and my mom and dad and I went through every single available building that was in the downtown Hamilton area. I live in Hamilton, and I really wanted to bring the studio here, and I think Mike and Cindy didn't want to have to drive to Fairfield 4 days a week or 5 days a week for the girls. So we began searching, looking through all of those buildings, and all of a sudden, quick things happened with the Journal Building, and we moved there in August of 2012. So since that time, this is our 4th season in the building, we have grown to over 200 students, and lots of new class offerings as well. So this was our space before, when construction was going on. This is where the printing presses sat, and this is our large studio space. And these are both of the studios, so we have 2 studios. How they were after they were finished. So the floors are sprung floors, and some of my friends see that that's where you dance, right? So they're sprung floors, and Marley on the floor, great sound systems, so it's a wonderful space, we love it. And most importantly, our space filled with dancers. We do several large performances every year. Our first one is every December, we do a full-length Nutcracker. And that's always the 1st and 2nd weekends of December. We do those performances at the Fairfield Community Arts Center. We've actually been doing our performances there since they opened their doors. In April, we do a different ballet every year. We've done Coppelia, we've done Cinderella, we've done our own version of Wizard of Oz, and this spring, April 15th, we will be doing our own version of Alice in Wonderland. And I guess something to say now, and we'll talk about as you see this stuff, my mom makes all of our costuming, so we don't buy our stuff. It's a very traditional, again, art form, and we choose to make everything. New this year, for the last few years, we've done a split bill in May, so we've done a 1 act of ballet, and the 2nd act is contemporary. And new this May, we're gonna do a full-length contemporary performance, and that will be here. So these are just some of our pictures from the Nutcracker. This is Clara, and these are our new soldier costumes. We just made these this year. This is the snow scene from Nutcracker. And just remembering that these are all kids. All of these dancers that you're seeing in these pictures are, gosh, I think the oldest is you guys, right? So 16-year-olds and younger that are in all of our performances. So it's fantastic what they do. And I was reminded yesterday that all of our rehearsals take place on Sundays, and we rehearse in 8 or 9 Sundays. That's it. So, these kids aren't like professional dancers who are dancing from 8 in the morning until 6 o'clock at night. They come in on Sundays from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock and pull this whole show off after 8 Sundays. These kids are 1st graders from this year's Nutcracker. They're the Chinese variation. And these are our 3- and 4-year-olds. So these are our youngest dancers that are in the show. And they are out there pretty much on their own. Clara's out there with them just in case someone gets scared or anything, but they do a great job. So this was from our spring show last year. It was called La Boutique Fantasque, and it's a very old ballet that not many companies do, but it is a one-act ballet, so we utilized it. It's about a toy shop and these toys that come to life at night. So here are some of these were Russian dolls. These were poodle dolls. And then the next slide is our contemporary part of our program. So this is one of the newest sections of what we offer. People came to us for ballet for years and years, but as we grow and get bigger, we change, and we're able to add more classes. So these are just some different modern pieces from last year's performance. We do have a new class that's all boys, and it's an all boys modern class. We do have several boys, younger boys that are in ballet as well, but they have a great time because it's a lot of jumping and gross motor skills and rolling, and so they have a fantastic time. There. And the piece on the top was a student-directed piece. It was Lydia, who's here. So she directed the piece and she made the scenery as well. So I'm gonna have a little break here in the middle of the slides and let the girls dance. They are doing signettes from Swan Lake. Okay, good job, girls. So they just they learned that in class, actually, and they have never performed it. Those are actually tutus from the Nutcracker, from the snow piece that we grabbed to use for today. All right. So outreach and education. My background is actually, I have a master's degree in education. I've danced my whole life, but certainly have a passion for bringing things into the community. So one of the first things that I wanted to do when we became nonprofit, when I took over as the director, was I wanted to make sure that we got out into schools. I found that many schools, because of testing and the current issues going on in education, had a really hard time having me in during the day. So they wanted me to do evening programming. I can't do that because all of our classes are in the evenings. So I did start doing a few things. These are things that you see us doing all of the times. First, Operation Pumpkin is something that you'll see our girls out alive after 5. We've danced at Hamilton Joe's as well. But this is where kind of my love started with all of these additional programming that I offer. So I started at Ridgeway Elementary, which is where my kids go to school, and I went into their preschool program because their teacher said, fantastic, we don't have gym for the preschool kids, so come in and do dance with them. So I volunteered to go in, and I think I was there for 6 years, as of last year, and I went into their preschool programs, which are, if you know anything about them, they're 50% kids that are typical and 50% kids that have disabilities. So I went in there and I started working with these fantastic kids. I would go in once a week. We would do lots of movement stuff. We did activities and drawing and lots of things with them, which I'll come back to that in just a moment. The other thing that we do with our students is we go to the Ohio Dance Festival every year for education at the Ballet Met, which is where the Columbus Ballet Met dancers facility is and where they rehearse. So we bring our dancers there. And they take classes for a weekend. They take classes in dancer wellness and dancer nutrition. So it's a very holistic program for those dancers. We have summer camps for ages 5 and older for 2 weeks. We teach the little ones how to sew. We do lots of dancing, and we actually got so large this past year that we had to also use the fitness center. So we had several groups going around, walking through the streets with little kids with dance clothes on. Another thing that we do with our dancers is every few years we take them on a trip to New York City. So we actually ride Amtrak for 19 hours. And yes, it's quite a long trip, but we go to New York City and we do typical tourist things. We let them see Times Square, we go and see the Statue of Liberty. This is just last summer that was our latest trip, and this was a class that the kids took at Streb, and this is a slam action mechanics class, and it's as intense as it sounds. These dancers, this company is actually known for doing things like scaling off of buildings, hanging off of scaffolding that's moving. It's just really crazy stuff. So they got to take a class and kind of learn a little bit about how those dancers train, and it was intense. There was a lot of slamming onto those mats that they would jump up and slam straight down. So that was an interesting experience for them. The other thing that we got to do this time, which was wonderful, was a private class with Antonio Carmina. He's the dancer in the bright blue shirt over there. He's from the New York City Ballet. So we had our own class with him, and they got to ask him questions. That evening, we then went backstage. They were doing Midsummer's Night's Dream, and we got to see all of the costuming and the props that were sitting back there, and then we saw the show. And I think my very favorite part of every week is a few classes that I teach in our Without Limits program. So our Without Limits program is funded by the Hamilton Community Foundation as well as private donors. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So my first group of classes that I have every week is called Dancing with Autism. This is going to go back to Ridgeway Elementary. When I was at Ridgeway, I met a little girl, and her name was Contessa. And Contessa responded very, very well. She was completely nonverbal, but she responded extremely well to my classes every week. And her teachers told her parents. And her parents called me and said, "Would you be willing to work with her in your studio?" And I said, "Sure, bring her in." And so she came into the studio, and I worked with her for 5 weeks, once a week for an hour. And for the first probably 4 weeks, I felt like I was walking around the room doing this stuff by myself, because you really couldn't tell, if you know anything about kids with autism, whether she was getting anything that I was trying to do with her. And by the 5th week, she was coming and getting my hand and bringing me to do things. And we did an obstacle course every week, and we had tactile balance pods, and she would not touch them. And by the 5th week, she would at least put her foot on it and then move it away. So the responses that we got, her parents were over the moon that they were seeing these things. So this was Contessa that first year that I worked with her. And this was her just actually, I think, 2 weeks ago. So we do a song that you're actually going to see today, and there's a part in it that you're supposed to go shh, and she won't do some of the stuff around it, but she is completely on the mark when it's time to say shh every single time. So very, very cool stuff. And then she has the scarf over her face. She would not hold on to those scarves. They were out of her hand. She didn't like to touch them. And within probably 2 years, she's finally now getting to the point where she'll use those scarves. These are some of the other girls in the class. So everybody, I don't know, again, how much you know about autism, but a lot of people think it's a boy thing or more prevalent in boys. But most of the kids that I'm seeing that come to me anyway are girls with autism. These 2 girls, Riley is on the top and Kara is on the bottom. They're both, again, nonverbal and just trying to get them into our routines and do all of the stuff that we do with them. And they're fantastic kids. The connection that we have is amazing. So the second grouping of classes that I teach are the Teen Without Limits. And the teen class started last year when I had a parent that called me that said, I heard that you have a partnership with Butler County DD, but they're adults that come in during the day. Well, we have kids that are teenagers and they would love to come in and dance. Would you be willing to? And I said, sure, again. And she said, how many would be your minimum? I said, 5. She came with, I think, 7. And the kids, most of them go to Fairfield. They all know each other. They do other things together. They're a fantastic group. They love to come in and laugh and hang out with us. This is us. This year, we've actually grown to 12 dancers in that group. So this is the group, and we also have high school students and a former dance student of mine that comes back and helps with those classes. This was the girls last year in their performance. And afterwards, there were a lot of tears because they were so overwhelmed with doing the whole thing. And then my last class that I'm going to talk about is the class of adults that I work with every Wednesday. I'm from Butler County DD. This is our 3rd season of doing the class. And this was our first group, I believe. And this was them dancing in the show, and just the excitement backstage for the folks was amazing. Letting their parents see them do something like this a lot of times for the first time ever, it was pretty cool. And I think one of my favorite stories after that first year was I had probably 15 different parents that contacted me and said afterwards, you know what, I had fantastic conversations with my 8-year-old, with my 10-year-old on the way home in the car because they got to meet these dancers, and they said, Mom, anybody can do this. Everybody can do this. And I think it really made a big impact on those kids. So this is my current group of dancers, and I actually brought them with me today. So we're gonna get them set up here, and I think we're gonna do some dancing. We're gonna show you an activity that we do in class first, and then we're gonna have you guys participate in one with us as well. So this is called the walk song. Are you guys ready? Yeah, come on up. All right, so we can just introduce everybody really quickly while they're moving this around. So Ashley, do you wanna introduce yourself? No, okay, she doesn't want to. This is Ashley. She's one of our dancers. I'm dropping this. This is Vince. You say hi. All right, do you want to say your name?
Anissa.
This is Anissa, and she's actually been with us. This is her 3rd season with us, right? She was the lucky one that got to stay. Everyone else is new. Do you want to say your name?
Dan.
This is Dan. You say your name? This is Alfonso, and this is Rob. You say Rob?
Gallop. Tiptoe. Shh. Skate. Hop.
So I'm going to talk about Rob just for a second. Rob just started coming to classes with us in August, and we do this song every week. And one week Brenda said, "Oh my gosh, he's jumping, like he's actually getting off the floor." And she went back and she was talking with his sister and asked his sister, "Does Rob jump?" And she said, "No, Rob does not get off the floor." And she goes, "Oh, he does now." So he likes to jump now. All right. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do, and I'm going to get my iPod so I can see, is everybody on their table has a different card. Yes. Don't worry, it's okay. So these guys do this. We kind of let the dancers make their own choices for some of the things that we do. And so what this activity is if your table says reach, raise your hand. All right, there's the reach table. You guys are welcome to stand up and join us. You can stay back there if you would like to. It's up to you. But we're going to do some reaching any way you want to. Nothing is wrong. So don't worry about that. And then the other dancers will have you ready? Okay. All right, we're going to do reaching first. Nope, just kidding. That is not the reaching music. Here it is. Here we go, ready? Okay, so the next group are people that are going to look like they're floating. So if your table says float, you're up next. All right, here they are. Okay, you ready? the next one's really fun. If you have melt on your table, you're up next. All right. Yes, stand up, Connie. You're not shy. The next group are bending. All right. There are the benders. All right, here we go. Okay, next we have explode. Yeah. Good job, Fonz. Nice work. All right, the last one that we're going to do is rolling. So figure out how you can roll without actually, rolling on the ground. Yeah, oh, you keep it. All right, well, thank you. That is all that we have for you guys to do today. What do you think? You wanna go take a bow? You ready? Come here, Daniel. You take a big bow and go bow. All right, good job. And they will be returning to the Fitness Center on May 21st for the afternoon performance, and they actually just got tap shoes. Yes.
Dance.
Yes.
Q&A?
Huh? Huh?
Questions? Does anybody have any questions for Michelle or any of the dancers that they'd like to ask? Anyone? You've been stupefied by the dancing?
Yeah, any questions that you guys have about our programming or?
We've got long-time listener, first-time caller, Mr. Richard Jones. Welcome to Celebrating Self, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here. Who taught you how to dance, Michelle? Where did you start taking dance?
Yeah, I started dancing. Yeah, she's here. I started dancing when I was 3 years old with Janet Carlton's School of Dance in Mount Healthy. And I grew up in all of her performances, and like I said earlier, she's still teaching. But my students now, which I have to say is when she's one of the most humble people I think I've ever met, and she'll come to me and say, "Is it okay if I do this?" I'm like, "Janet, you knew me when I was born. You get to do what you think is best." So.
And Janet's also on the staff here at the Fit, and she runs our Golden Tappers program over the Partners in Pro. Oh, we got some. They're all in the house too. You'll see them out here at the Fit, and then also things like Operation Pumpkin. They're absolutely fantastic.
Yep. Anybody else?
I got one here.
What can we do in the community to help support this program and your dancing program and so forth?
Yeah, good question. Gosh. We take donations because we're a nonprofit, and you can specifically, say that you would like it to go for whichever dance program that you are interested in going for. My mom could always use help sewing if anybody can sew. She's here as well. So, but if Mom wave, I know she doesn't like. Yes, there she is. So volunteers for sewing, volunteering backstage for performances is great to always have extra hands. Just call me. I'm sure I can find something for you. Set building sometimes, or even, just if I put a call out for help with supplies or whatever. Yep. Yep. Anything else? Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much to Michelle and to our incredible dancers here and by the window. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely incredible. We are a very fortunate city here in Hamilton. I often say that we punch well above our weight. We've got about 63,000 people in this town, living in what is termed the Rust Belt. But this city, for what it has in terms of its depth all around the city, in terms of economic development, social development, but for the arts, is quite incredible. And I say that standing here in the Fitness Center, and I'm obviously biased, but if you look outside the windows, you will see that we have the City of Sculpture, and we have River's Edge, and we have Art Space Lofts, and we have Pyramid Hill, and we have an incredible dance studio, and we have a symphony orchestra. There is nothing we do not have, and it's all of great quality and getting bigger and stronger and better every day. And that's an incredible resource for a city, for any city, but for a city of this size. So I'm proud to be amongst it, and I'm proud to have Miami Valley Ballet Theatre here as a partner at the Fitness Center. So we'd love for you to come back and see them in May, and then we're going to be doing lots of things of that nature with the community. Have a lovely, lovely week. Stay warm, stay dry, and we look forward to seeing you at the Fitness Center again very soon. Thank you.